everybody, welcome back to Two Tall Stitchers. I'm Jennifer and this is my mom Carol, and we are super happy to be with you today for Flosstube number 18.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
It's amazing.
We're legal now, right?
Yeah,
Partially
yeah.
legal. Yeah.
But we're only drinking Coke, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. All right. We'll jump right in. First, we want to say welcome back. Thanks to everybody who's come back. Special thanks to those of you who leave those amazing comments like, I get excited every time I see your video. We really appreciate it.
We love your comments. We read every one of them, most of them 2 or 3 times easily. Because they're just, it's kind of neat to know that people care.
Yeah.
And we enjoy every one of them, and we enjoy talking to you.
Yeah. And a couple of shout outs or thanks to give. Last time you showed a pattern you were stitching for the shop, the Primrose Cottage monthly items.
March.
And we had a couple eagle eyes.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I looked, I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
I had skipped 2 stitches on the bottom. You guys must expand and examine every single piece we do, which is not good news for us.
Although, like, I usually watch Flosstube on my TV, so that's a big screen.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a big TV, then we're even taller than normal.
But thank you for spotting that, because I went back and corrected it immediately. And I hate autocorrect, as I told you, because it typed in something else when I said thank you. But it's fixed now.
It's fixed.
And now I just have to finish them.
Yeah.
Also, hi to Jacinda, who came into Persnickety. And it was nice to meet you. Glad you came in. Hope you come back.
And I wanted to say a hi to Missy and Kathy. And they are from a new Flosstube called 2 Needles Pulling Thread, and they shouted us out. So hi, ladies. I've enjoyed watching your Flosstubes, and thanks a lot for mentioning us.
Yeah.
And then we want to give a special thanks. There have been several different Facebook posts in different groups recently where people were asking about what Flosstubes do you watch? What else do you watch? And a bunch of people have commented on Two Tall Stitchers, and we just want to say thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we see it, I'm like, I text her, I go, another one. Somebody else knows about us.
Somebody else watches us. So yeah. All right. Well, we'll jump into the quilt of the day. I thought today we're in the middle of winter, which some of us enjoy, not all of us. And so I thought it would be good to bring a bright, fun, cheery quilt. So this is my quilt. It is called Stained Glass Diamonds, and it is from this book, Creative Log Cabin Quilting. It's a House of White Birches book that you can find from time to time. I think they actually show up quite a bit at half-price books because I've gotten a few there.
If you have a half-price books near you, that's a good place to haunt. It's amazing what they have sometimes.
Yeah, so I saw this pattern in this book and I fell in love with it. And many years ago, we were in a bee. Well, you're still active in the bee. And it was called the Block Builders Bee. And each month, the hostess would hand out a block to everybody and they would make a block, and then the hostess had enough for a quilt, because there were, at one time, there were like 16.
No, we only had 12.
Oh, I thought you had more than 12 at one point.
Everybody hosted 1 month at a time.
Okay, so you'd have 12 blocks. Well, I picked out this quilt, and what I did is I bought and cut the black fabric, which is a Kona black, and I told everybody just pick brights to go in it, most of which read as solids or close to solids. And so what came back were these amazing blocks that are so much fun, and I stuck them in the drawer. Well, that's not true. I had to make more blocks because this is a good size quilt. This is like a twin size quilt. And so I made a bunch of blocks, and then they went in the closet, and then years later I pulled it out and I finished the top. And then I didn't know how I wanted to quilt it. So it sat and sat and sat and sat. And at the beginning of COVID, I think it was in 2020, I was like, it's time to put on your big girl pants and quilt your quilt. And I quilted it, and I absolutely love it. So this is one that, honestly, will probably go on one of the kids' beds when they head off to college, because they have their own quilts, which I imagine they'll take with them. And then this will be a good one. So
their beds at home.
Yes.
You know, letting them go to college.
No. When they go to college and take their quilts, then this will replace one
home.
of those on one of the beds. So, yeah, so that's my quilt. I love bright fabrics. I love this bright against the black, and I love log cabins. So this book is awesome. I really want to make this one on the front, too. Not with shirts, but probably with flannels or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
that'll
like
be
the
pretty.
triangular log cabin.
Yeah,
So
that'll be pretty.
that's the quilt of the day.
Yes.
Alrighty. Life
Life
updates.
We're upstairs.
Guess where we are.
I went up last Thursday for the first time, and I almost thought I'm never going up again. I walked past one bedroom, and there was stuff dumped in that bed.
Oh yeah.
And then I walked past the other bedroom, and that's where they dumped all the Christmas wrapping and all that kind of stuff because I didn't get that done. And Jenna
and
wrapped
the
all the
teenagers
presents.
helped you.
Yeah.
So
they
there was a
were
lot
great.
of like,
Yeah.
just put it upstairs.
Yeah.
So they did. Just big pile
and then
of stuff.
and then I would say, and then the last one is I walked in here and I went, oh my God. And because, I'd say, oh yeah, just put it on my cutting table. Well, the cutting table is only so big. And when I came in the other day.
It's a big cutting table,
Yeah.
but it's full.
I told my friend the other day, I said,
Completely full.
I'm a little overwhelmed right now because I walked in and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had this. Oh, and I want to start that. And I need to work on that quilt. But, the one I showed last month, the fabric I showed you, I really want to work on that. But I really need to finish that quilt from last year. So I've had the last set of blocks, which I picked up early December, but obviously I didn't have time to sew them. So I've got those to finish up. And then I've got 22 blocks on the wall.
On the wall.
And then that'll go together. But I don't know if I'll do that before I start the other one because I really like those bright colors.
Well, those blocks would be good to bring to retreat.
Yeah, I think I may bring it to retreat and work on it there. But but we're upstairs. Unfortunately, all the snow is gone. It's been very cold here the last few days. We have icicles on the bird feeders and stuff, but the snow has melted. The ice has melted, which is a good thing.
That's good.
And so everything is kind of pukey green right now.
It's hovering right around
brown.
freezing.
Yeah.
And so at night it goes a little below freezing. During the day, a little bit above. Today it's nice and sunny, which is great because we've had a lot of gray days in the last week. Yeah.
But it's going to be in the 50s later in the week, which is ridiculous because it's only the beginning of March. And March is coming in like a lamb, so you know what that means. The end of March is going to be hell.
Hopefully not. Other life updates. I go back to work 3 days a week I go back into the office for work, I should say, starting March 1st. So kind of halfway looking forward to that. I'm going to miss my lunchtime stitching, if we're honest.
And your dog.
I've been doing a lot. Yeah. I don't know who's going to miss who more because she drives by about 4 times a day for a good neck scratch. Doesn't matter if I'm on a call or not. She'll come in and just kind of sidle in to get some pets, and we enjoy sitting together at lunch and stuff. So that'll be a big adjustment, and it'll have an impact on my stitching time. Between now and next time, we're planning a camping trip with our Girl Scout troop. Not outdoor camping, cabin camping. Looking forward to that. We haven't done that in about 3 years now, because we usually go once or twice a year. So very much looking forward to that. And I think, that's the big stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. And hopefully, I can get down and get Grace and bring her up, or you can bring her up, and she can spend the day here.
She can have doggy daycare with you.
Yeah, she and Cole, they get along. They're not, bosom
they're
buddies,
buddies,
but they're friends. And she likes to be out in the yard. She can run around then and everything. So if it's dry, it'll be fine. If it's real muddy, I'm screwed.
Yeah, on a dry day.
On a dry day, not a rainy day. Not a rainy day. But
well, we have a lot of questions. So why don't we start with previous finishes just to show a little stitching, and then we'll go back to questions.
Okay.
So
you're going to start.
You start. You have snow.
Okay. I have winter because now I'm upstairs, so I was able to dig out a few winter things. This was just a free pattern I picked up somewhere, and I have no clue the name. It was actually a frame that I got at Needle Fever before it closed, and it was brown, and I spray painted it white, and I love it.
It's just
really
on
pretty.
red
It's
Ada.
just on red Ada, nothing fancy. This one
pretty.
I made when I was in Houston, and of course it doesn't have any information on it, and I have no clue what the pattern is because it's probably 30 years old. But me and Snowman, what can I tell you? Yeah. I had a great framer in Houston. She was so wonderful.
And this is a button. The snowmen are a button.
Snowmen are button.
Yeah.
Snowman and Snow Lady. Snow people. And then this one I got up at Erica's in South Bend, which unfortunately has since closed. It was a great shop. It was a kit. It came with all the floss and the pattern, and
I think the linen too.
Yeah, I think it did.
I think so because we both made it.
Yeah, and so
we finished it the same way.
I don't think I have the pattern anymore. I seem to remember somebody spilling something on it, and it kind of got destroyed. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my snowman, and I finished that. I myself. See that?
Yes.
All by
That
myself.
was your first
That
cube,
was my first,
I think.
my only cube.
Yes.
But
and we used the tutorial from Pfeiffer, outstanding tutorials at the Twisted Stitcher
right.
tutorials site on Blogspot.
Yes.
So
yes.
Definitely want to give that shout out to her.
Yeah, if you
those
need
cubes, stand-ups, ornaments, all types of things she has outstanding. She does videos too, but I prefer the written tutorials that are on the blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one is Kathy Haberman from Hands On Design.
Yeah.
She's really good. And Elizabeth Ann can stitch.
Yeah.
They all do finishing. And I'm sure there's some others that we just haven't picked up on.
Yeah.
But those are 3 that we tend to go back to for tips and ideas.
Yeah, for finishing tutorials.
Yeah.
And I brought 2. So I brought this one right off my mantle because I haven't taken down the Valentine's decorations yet. And this is one of the Heart in Hand annual hearts. Kindness begets kindness. It says 2017 on here because that's the year that I stitched it, but I think it's actually the 2007 heart. And I just picked it up as a kit somewhere, made it into a pillow, did the little pillow closure on the back where you snip it in the middle and then stuff it.
And that's from Kathy Haberman on Hands On Design, and she has a great tutorial on that.
Yeah, and then you just fuse fabric on top of it. So. And
then show them how you put your initials on the back.
Yeah, that I took from Vana. So you just stitch your initials, the year, and just put it on the back. If I usually date mine on the front of the linen, but so this was all, well, the linen, I think, and the button came in the kit, but I think the threads were mine. And I'm sure it's the called for threads because in 2017 I wasn't experimenting or I was following the rules. And then my second one is a Mill Hill, and I'm laughing because it is literally taped in with Scotch tape to the Mill Hill frame. This one is called Cozy Inn, and this is the Mill Hill that made me say I'm never stitching another Mill Hill kit because it's gigantic. It's 8 by 8, I think. Now I really like it now that it's done, but man, that was a lot of stitching. It's basically a full coverage piece on the perforated paper.
And it's got a lot of beads.
And it has a lot of beads, but I like it now that it's done. And guess what? I keep buying Mill Hill kits. So it's really not the last one.
Yes. Whoever dies first has a Mill Hill kit supply for a lifetime. Between the 2 of us.
Yes.
I have a whole box over here that I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now we'll go into questions.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and show you some more stitching. So last time, we'll start with the question we asked you, and then we'll go to the questions that you asked us. So last time, we asked you, how do you stitch? And it became a 2-part question. The first one was, do you stitch in hand with a hoop with a Qsnap? And so here are the results, stitching friends. We'll go from lowest to highest. So 8 people said they stitch with a frame, which we both love stitching with frames.
Yep.
21 people said multiple. So sometimes in hand, sometimes a hoop, sometimes a Qsnap. That I would fall into that category. Multiple, you probably would too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely.
We were tied with a hoop and a Qsnap. We had 28 each. And a lot of you said hoop and a Qsnap. So sometimes it made you a hoop, sometimes it made you a Qsnap, because I felt like those were kind of more interchangeable. So a lot of hoops, a lot of Qsnaps. Several people who commented they've gone back to hoops after using Qsnaps because it hurts their hands more.
Yeah.
I will say Michelle at Penny's Daughter Shares showed a couple weeks ago how she holds her Qsnap, so she's not gripping it, but she has a flat hand. So go back and look at maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago on her Flosstube. She has some tips for how she holds her Qsnap. And then the number 1, the highest, was in hand. 38 of you stitch in hand. I was surprised by that.
I admire you.
Although if you add hoops and Qsnaps together, that's like 60 people. So so that was kind of fun. And then some of you answered this part of the question. We kind of made it a 2-part. Some of you didn't, so the numbers don't add up. The numbers don't equal 100. It's not tight math. And we asked, how do you stitch? So we had 9 people who said they stitched 2-handed, 19 who used the sewing method, and 39 who use the stabbing or the poke and stick, whatever you want to call that method. That's what I use most of the time.
Me too.
Yeah. I love two-handed stitching though when it's on my frame. I love it.
Yes.
So yeah, my takeaways from this question, common
she loves
threads.
this kind of stuff.
Most of the time, in-hand and sewing method went together, although we have 38 in hand and only 19 who said sewing method. But again, not everybody said. They answered both, kind of answered both things. And then most of the time, hoop, snap, frame, go with the stabbing method. And I think there was only one person who said they use a hoop or a Qsnap and do the sewing method. I think for the sewing method, you need the fabric to be
flexibility.
More flexible.
Loose.
And then Maureen made a neat comment. She said stitching is kind of like handwriting. We all have our own way to do it, and we all do it a little differently. And I love that comment, Maureen. I think that's true. So
there's no right way, no wrong way. You know, when somebody's starting, it's kind of nice, I think, to show them different methods, because I have always done, I've been stitching since Eric was in preschool, and he just turned 50. I don't have a child.
He's my older brother.
Yes, and I'm his younger mother. But that's the only way I was taught, was to do the stabbing. And so as Flosstube came along and everything, all of a sudden it was like, whoa, you can do two-handed, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think it's kind of neat for a new person to introduce them to say there are several different ways. There's no wrong way.
Yeah.
And there's no right way. It's what you prefer or what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah. So. And a lot of people commented, like, there were kind of two camps. One camp was, I started this way, it works for me, and I've been doing it that way my whole life. And other people were like, I started with this, and then I moved on to this, and then I found this, and now I found something I love. Yeah. I would agree that Flosstube, we talked about this last time with how many whips. Flosstube has had a big influence.
Yes. Huge.
Overall stitching wise, including considering different stitching methods. I didn't even know about the sewing method until Flosstube. So yeah.
Including buying more patterns. Yeah. That's another wonderful thing about Flosstube.
Yep. Okay, so those are your statistics for the day. One of these days I'm gonna have a little graph that we're gonna insert here. Maybe next time. I know what our question's going to be, so I can do a graph. Oh, God. Okay.
She loves this stuff. Okay.
I do love this stuff.
Brian and Tammy asked about the name of the 5-yard quilt that I showed last time, and it's called Alternating 4-Patch by Mary Danielson, and it is available on Amazon. I couldn't believe it. I Googled it, and it showed up on Amazon. Yeah. So it's a neat pattern. It's fun. It goes fast. And
again, you just pick up 5 yards of fabric.
Yeah, you just buy 5 yards of fabric.
And that's the whole top and the binding.
Yes.
But not the back.
It's not the back, but it's all the sashing, the blocks, the borders, and the binding. Yeah. With 5 yards. Yeah. And it's done. So
all right.
If you can find 5 yards at a sale room, then you're really in good shape. If they have it like for $5 a yard, you can get a quilt for $25 plus batting and
it's a good size lap quilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Deborah asked, where'd you get your necklace? I don't remember which necklace.
Oh, I think I had the one with my name.
Oh, yeah.
And that came from my best friend. Yes. She told me how many hours she spent going through this tub of letters to pick out all the letters for my name.
Oh, with the blocks.
Yeah, the blocks. Yeah.
And what about today's necklace?
Today's
that seems
necklace,
to be a popular topic, your necklaces.
Yeah, this necklace today is from our local jeweler, Goodman Jewelers in Zionsville, who I have an extremely good relationship with, as does Jennifer, as does Jenna.
Yes.
So they know us well. And
they're right across the parking lot from Persnickety Stitchers.
Yeah.
So if you come to see the cross stitch, then you can go over and see the jewelry at Goodman's.
Yeah. And I love this necklace. It's really pretty. And Jennifer has one like it, but it's square. It's rectangular.
Yeah.
And it's the same blue and white.
Yeah.
And but I thought I'd wear this today just so that it was something new.
Yeah. Good.
So.
All right. Cheryl let us know the small scissors. I don't know if you have any nearby. I don't. Are called Super Mini Snips. So for those of you who are looking for them, Super Mini Snips, and I think you can find them all kinds of places.
Here they are, the little tiny ones.
Yep.
See,
and they pop out.
Tiny. They're great for travel because, and they're sharp. They're sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't leave them over and drop them on your foot or anything close to a body part.
Okay. Karen asked, what's the difference between the sewing and the stab methods of stitching? So the best way I can describe it is sewing, you're going in and out in one motion and then pulling your needle, and in and out and pulling your needle. The poke and stab, you go down, and then most of the time with the same hand, unless you're doing two-handed stitching, you're pulling the needle, turning it around, sending it back up. So you're going up and down, whereas the sewing method, you're kind of going in and out.
I believe that Priscilla on Stitching with the Housewives, or the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, has done a tutorial on hand sewing in hand.
Yeah, and so has
And
Liz. At Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch.
So
I
check
watched
them.
hers and I tried it. I just it doesn't work for me.
I've tried it, but unless it's Ada, which I don't really like to stitch with, but like linen and stuff, and even the Lugana and Goblin, they're a little too soft for me, and I don't feel that I get consistent stitches. And I know that was some of the comments.
I have heard that from people that the stiffer fabric is better. But anyway, enough about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Elizabeth and Judy wanted to know the brand of frame that we use, our cross stitch frames.
The Easy Stitch.
Yeah.
And they come in you can get them as a kit, and then you can buy extra pieces to go with them.
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned this before, buy extra knobs.
Yes.
Comes with
we
4.
talk a lot about them in our first, like probably our
videos.
second and third, or third and fourth videos.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of questions about them. The actual ones that we bought are no longer, well, they're not easy to find, I should say that way. They are produced by a different company. But okay, the next question was from BK. She spied this needle minder on one of my projects last time. I love Rudolph. I'm a big reindeer fan, and said, where'd you get this? And Mom bought this for me, and it's from Pip and Chip, P-I-P and C-H-I-P.
One word.
On Etsy. So, and Mom looked it up. And also it was on the very back. Let's see. It's hard to show. Very back of the needle minder, it has their name too. So Pip and Chip. And I think when you bought these, you also got thread holders that were New Jersey for you and Indiana for me.
I did.
So
and they're here somewhere.
They have super cute stuff on their Etsy shop.
Yeah.
Go look.
And they're over in England, but the delivery was perfect. It came very quickly.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they were overseas.
That.
Yeah, they're somewhere in England. I'm not exactly sure where.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any advice for joining stitching groups or retreats?
Okay, for retreats, there's a website, a Facebook group called Stitching Events, and that's where I put the first notification for our first cross stitch retreat on there, asking if anybody was interested. So people post on there all the time. As far as stitching groups, if you again put out a note and say, I live in Indianapolis on the Northwest side. Is there anybody who would like to be part of a stitching group? And actually, I'm in a group that we stitch every Wednesday, and we started at Needle Fever, which was a shop in Indy for years. And we started there, and we were from all different parts of town. I mean, people live up in Fishers and down by the airport, and all around. And we've become quite a group. I mean, we've stayed together. It's got to be 10 years.
Yeah, because I used to come when Jenna was little, because she had a little toy section in the shop.
Right.
And the kids would play on the toys.
Yeah. And so just put out a note.
Yeah, I would say if you have a local needle workshop or even a local quilt shop, go in and ask if they have a stitching group, or if they're willing to host a stitching group.
Yeah.
And then work with them. The other thing you've found over the years is that coffee shops are pretty,
some of them are pretty
open to having stitchers there. You meet now at a Barnes and Noble.
Right now we're at Barnes and Noble. But the other thing, if you have an Old National Bank in your town, they have a meeting room, and you have access to the bathroom, and the meeting room usually has a nice long conference table in it, very comfortable chairs and everything. And we met there for a long, long time until COVID.
Yeah.
And so they haven't opened up the conference room, and I'm hoping they will soon, because Barnes and Noble is okay, but
it's a bigger, you can spread out more.
It's just more comfortable at the bank.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to know all the tellers and everything. And what we did as a thank you is we made small ornaments for them every year. And the first year we bought them a little tiny Christmas tree, and we put the ornaments on it. And then we said, they're yours to take home. Yeah. And then each year we make new ornaments for them and take them in. And so that was our thank you for that. Yeah. And of course, if we have a birthday or we have food, which we don't have a lot of, we share it with them. Yeah. And they really like that.
But I would say, I mean, the other thing outside of finding a group, if you get a chance, just go. even if you're a single by yourself, you know, we've met some outstanding friends at quilt retreats and stitch retreats, and a lot of introverts are stitchers and quilters. So if you're an introvert and you're like, oh, I don't know about this, there will be other introverts there. There will be one table of people who hardly ever talk at all. There will be another table of people that never stop talking. But, you know, I just think you'll find your people in a stitch group. So if you get a chance to go to a retreat, try it out. There's some retreats that have teachers and have classes, some that don't. So try both of them, see what you like. But I say just sign up and go for it, because they're just awesome. They always go too fast.
I will tell you, our retreats, you know, the first one we had, we basically only knew a few people that came, and everybody else was new. And there were 3 or 4 ladies that came together and stuff, but there were a lot of singles, and we got to know a lot of people. And by the end of the first one, it was full for the next year. And then we decided to go ahead and do a second one. And if you can afford to travel, fine. You know,
if you can't, then join that Stitchers Events group on Facebook, or ask your local shop. I know, you know, the Keepsakes shop in Cincinnati, they host a couple of retreats each year. So ask around and you'll find places. But just try it out. I say just go. Just do it.
And on other Flosstubes, people will mention retreats that they're going to. I know Steel City Stitchers just had one in Pittsburgh, and there's been several others like that. So
all right, so Brian asked, what is a Biscornu? Brian, I'll show you the pattern again in a few minutes, because it's deep here. But a Biscornu is a type of pin cushion that's, you stitch the top and the bottom usually, and how you put it together, it's like they're 4-sided pieces, but they switch them in half. I don't know how to say it other than that, and you sew it together that way. So that's what a Biscornu is.
Just find a tutorial on sewing together a Biscornu.
Yes, and if you go back to our earlier videos where we did a Biscornu sale last August, you'll find links in those videos to tutorials. You also asked, where are the D-Stash groups? On Facebook. Just look up Cross Stitch D-Stash. I guarantee you'll find at least one group where you will see lots of things you need to buy. And what brand of magnifier we use? We use the Bright Tech Pro Flex, which you can get on Amazon. And then last question, Terry asked for the pattern that you're going to use for the fabric you showed last time.
Okay, it's a Thangles pattern, and I haven't gotten it started yet, obviously. I'm still trying to find everything. But it's a block of the month, and each month you get 2 strips. If you do it through a store, you get 2 strips and you get the pattern. And then at the end you have all the blocks, and then you put them together and you have a finishing kit. And this is series number 8.
So you're doing Thangles block of the month, series 8.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's jump into some more stitching, because we're almost 30 minutes in.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so I'm going to start with a couple of whips and then a bunch of new starts. You have whips and maybe one new start. So I told you last time I was going to try and play along with Stitch the Winter Olympics on Instagram. Katie, the Nap Time Stitcher, hosted it, and it was so much fun. You had a prompt every day and tried to stitch something towards that prompt. So I had 2 things that I had already been working on that I kept going on. So the first one is Graveyard Goblins, and this is by the Nutmeg Needle.
That's really cute.
An old pattern, and I started this back in the fall and didn't get very far, and so I pulled this out on the skeleton day, because you were supposed to stitch something that is Halloween or dark themed, and I got the rest of the tree done, so it was only partially done. And I started on the first tombstone. So had a lot of fun pulling this one out again. This is a Threadworks thread, which I used on 2 projects this time. And I love their thread. It's just gorgeous variegation. So that was my first whip. And then my second one, all my needle minders are stuck together. Okay, my second one was Winter Bell Pull. And this one, I just wanted to keep moving along. So where's our board? It's back here. And so I got a little bit further on this one. Boy, that is a lot of stitching in the border.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty, so it's worth it. So I worked on this section here with the flowers and the bunny. And then every other time I worked on it, I was working on that border. But it came up I used it for probably at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 prompts. I was glad to pull out some of the same pieces to use for multiple prompts. So those were my 2 whips. Did you want to show?
Yeah.
The rest are new starts.
Okay, this is
all the needle minders.
All the needle
Look
minders.
Look at her cute needle minder. Cross stitch heart.
Okay. Hang on. Now we're stuck again. Hang on.
Never mind.
Go ahead. You go.
I'll keep going.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I told you last time that I hadn't even looked at my Biscornu. Well, last night I felt really guilty. So when I finished working on the other one, I thought I have to put a few stitches in. So anyway, this is my Biscornu. Is that right?
Yes.
Set up? Yeah. That's my Biscornu, and I'm working on the middle section, the middle picture.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So last night I put in.
And this is by Qsnap. It's called Tiny Christmas Biscornu.
5, 7, 9.
You don't have to count the number of stitches.
I put 11 stitches in last night just so I could tell you I'd done something on it. So it's coming along, as is Christmas. But
well, maybe it'll be done by Christmas.
Maybe it'll be done by Christmas. You never know.
That is a tiny one.
It is tiny, yes.
Oh, wow.
It is. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch you sew it together.
I can't wait to watch you help me. Okay. Okay. So then I have finishes. So this is what I'm working on. Where's the rest of it? Okay.
I don't know. We'll find it.
Okay. I was working on.
There it is.
Okay. I was working on, I think I've shown you this, and I know that was one of the questions.
Yes, we didn't catch the name.
We didn't catch.
It was initials.
Okay.
Anyway, to whoever asked the question about this pattern.
This is the pattern that I'm working on, and this is, I think it's on Silver Moon.
Yes,
Lugana.
Silver
And it's 25 1/1, and I'm using Splendor, which is a silk thread.
Yep.
And it turns out it's really a good deal because it's 12 strands, and it's strandable, and it has 8 yards.
Yeah.
Which is more than any of the other fancy flosses do. It's not variegated, but it feels nice.
Yeah,
it's very soft because it's silk.
Yeah.
And so I'm really pleased with the way it's coming along. The only thing I can tell you is it's really tiny, and I know there are a couple of mistakes in there, but there's no swinging way I'm going to take out.
Do you remember the name of the pattern?
I typed it down somewhere. It's written down.
Okay. Is it on the back?
Okay. I put down.
It's not.
I typed it in. What did you do with it?
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, right. Okay. I found it, and we just looked it up.
We'll put it across the bottom here.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, fudge.
All right. So then, continuing along, I'll continue along my whips because I think the rest is finishes for you.
Finishes.
So I pulled out Flanders Fields Biscornu for 2 prompts, stitch something with flowers, which was an easy match, and stitch something that was round. And I was like, this is kind of round. And so last time I showed you, I had finished the back except for the border. I still haven't gone back and done that. But I started the front, and I got most of the first section done. I have to fill in the flower, and then I have one more leaf to do here, and that'll be 1/4 of it. And I did the same thing this time that I showed you guys last time. I just took a strand of thread and I kind of sewed it in at the top so I know which direction is the top. So that's my progress on Flanders Fields. And then I started some other things. I've been dying to stitch this one. I picked this up when we went on our stitching trip a while back. This is White Christmas by Primrose Cottage. And I already mentioned I love the reindeer, so you know that's the one that I started. And I'm stitching this on some kind of Lugana. Not what it's called for, but some light gray Lugana.
It's blue.
With my new needle minder. I know, but the color is actually light gray.
Oh, okay.
It looks very blue. Yeah, but it's a light gray. And I got that guy stitched, and I started the bottom of the base, and I can't wait to get back to this one. But I was stitching like crazy on some other stuff, so you'll see that in a few minutes. And then my last start, I was so excited to start this one because I've been wanting to start it pretty much since the day I bought it. This is the Heart and Hand Santa from 2021, and probably my favorite Heart and Hand Santa she's ever done. And the colors are gorgeous. I love it. This is on a 32 count fabric that was in one of the packs I bought at the Stitcher's garage sale. And it says 32 count desert sand, but I absolutely love how everything's showing up. And I'm using all the called for fabric except
Colors.
for, yeah, all the called for colors except one I did not have, so I switched to the DMC. So the rest of them are the Weeks, Classic Colorworks, and Gentle Arts. Oh, I lied. I also switched out the white. I had a Threadworks, so I pulled that out, and I'm using that for the beard. But I'm loving this one. These two little ornaments, I can't wait to go back and stitch them more.
Yeah, and she did have the DMC equivalent in the pattern.
Yes, she has that all listed. Yeah, so that's whips and finishes. You have some finishes.
Okay, well here, yours is on top. So
okay.
I'll hold it.
Okay, so I finished the other piece. I'll hold this up close. So this is Snow Place Part 5 that I did for several of the prompts for Stitch the Winter Olympics. And I finished it yesterday. And so now I have all 5 of them done. Let me hold it up. It's hard to get in there because it's so wide.
And yeah, it shows pretty well.
I haven't decided yet if I'm going to get this framed or if I'm going to make it into a pillow.
Oh,
so this is all the called for except the blue and green houses, and I switched out
this one and this one
and the other blue house
and this one
and the blue words
and the blue words.
So all the blue is Threadworks, the green house is switched out, and I'll just bring it up close so you can see it. And the blue and the green are Threadworks colors, and I just pulled them out to show you the variegation. This is actually an old one that had the Needle Necessities code on it. And this is the green. And they just have, I think, one of the prettiest variegations. And this green is Threadworks number 1063. So I'm super happy to have that done. I started that in 2021 as a series piece. I was hoping to finish it in 2021, but I kind of forgot about it and stitched on a bunch of other stuff. So I did these last 2 pieces in 2022, and now I only have one more big series to stitch, and it's all the reindeer. So that will take a while.
I remember that.
Yeah, with the Swarovski crystals.
I remember you buying that.
Yeah.
Going into debt.
It was the most expensive thing I had bought at the time, and I haven't stitched it yet. Yeah. So, yeah, and then you had finished.
Yes, I did. Okay, I actually got my act together, and I finished Home Sweet Home.
Yeah.
I got it done.
So this is by Rovaris.
Yeah. And I've worked on that a long time, but it's not hard. It's just a lot of counting.
Yeah.
You know, it's over 2. It's a, I don't know. I can't remember the fabric it's on, but it's a linen. And it's definitely a 32 count,
it's
I think.
32 or 36.
Yeah. Probably 36. I don't know. But I love it. I think it's really pretty. I love her stuff. And there's a button that goes on it somewhere, which is in the bag. And I didn't put it on yet. I haven't put my initials on it. But I am so delighted to have that done. That's the one that I was stitching in the park when the bird pooped on my pattern. And so, thank God he didn't poop in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But, so it's done. And I'm really pleased with it. I'm excited I have to have that finished.
Good.
And then this, and I'm hoping she's not watching. If you are, close your eyes.
And if you're watching, turn it off right now.
This is one I made for my best friend for her birthday. We need to put the thing. And this was it's called Old Friends, and I think it's by Liz Matthews.
Hello, but from Liz Matthews. Yeah.
And I just started that, I think, last week.
Yeah, it's
I love to do letters, and it's such a quick stitch. And she had done it in black, and she has it on a pretty big frame with a lot of space around it. I made it a little smaller, but I'm really pleased with it. Yeah. And it just went really quickly. And we have been friends since Jennifer was in 4th grade.
5th grade.
5th grade.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago. And we've been through a lot together. And she's a dear friend,
Yeah.
and so I usually give her some kind of handmade
Stitching
thing.
stuff.
Stitching stuff.
And she
she
sends you
appreciates
jewelry to add
Yeah.
to your collection. Yeah.
And and you know, she appreciates it, and that's the one
Yeah.
thing. When you're going to make stuff, think about who you're giving it to, because there are some people who are like, oh wow, oh that's nice,
Okay.
thank you, and you're like, you know how many hours I spent on that. So yeah.
And you
Okay.
have a big FFO.
Yes, my FFO. This is, I told you about it the last time.
Yes.
We went to Hobby Lobby, and I was wandering around, and I found this frame, and I said to Jennifer, I think this might
Bring
fit.
it up.
So here it is. It was my $16 frame. It was a $64 frame that was not claimed, so it was marked down to $16. And I bought it at Hobby Lobby, and then I took it to Michael's.
To be framed.
And they framed it, and it was not very much at all. And it does have glass on it. Yeah, it has glass. And so, yeah.
Yeah, we can. I'm sure. There you go. Now you can see the reflection.
Yeah, yeah. So Flea Market Flowers is done and framed, and I really didn't think I'd have it framed because it was so big. I was like, oh, I can't. It's going to
Well,
cost
it's
me a
just in
fortune.
time for spring too.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Put it up.
So
Yeah.
either I'll put it up here. I may put it in the store as a model, so people can see it, because it's not hard. It was fun to do, and the thing that was fun is that you can do it in chunks.
Yeah.
You know, you can do a segment, and if you want to do something small, you can just do like a piece like this. You know, so you don't have to do the whole thing. But I love the colors.
I've seen a lot of people take this one
Yeah.
and make a Biscornu out of it. It's
Yeah.
so pretty. Yeah.
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 So that's my FFO, and I'm really excited.
Yay!
I'm really excited.
All right. So haul. I didn't buy any stitching stuff this time. Did you?
I got one skein of Holly Weeks Dye Works to work on Anne's Your Heart and My Heart.
Okay.
And it's a good thing I did, because the other night when I was finishing it up, I ran out and I needed like 3 more lengths.
Yeah. That's your second thing you ran out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I can go to the shop in daylight hours probably, but probably at midnight. I don't think the Scienceville police would be too excited to see me wandering around in there, even if I do have a key. So
You
I
have
did
one
pick it up
other-
before.
Sorry, you have one other finish. The Primrose Cottage.
Oh, yeah.
Got hidden under all the
It's
other
under here.
stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw it.
Yep, here it is. This is the February Primrose Cottage. I've done January and March. As you eagle eyes know, I'll let you examine it and tell me if there's anything missing. I tried to really be careful this time. So this I finished. And these again go very quickly, and I'll finish that up as a little pillow. So, whoops, there, is it straight? So here, I'll hold it close so you can see if I've done anything wrong. And I appreciate hearing about it, because it's much nicer to find out when it's in this stage than when it's framed or all sewn together.
Yes.
We really do appreciate that.
And I had one purchase that I made a while back that came in the quilting world. So this is, it's a layer cake of Indigo Garden by Riley Blake. This is a Heather Peterson fabric. I've followed Heather for years. I love her stuff. Here's the colors in it.
Those are 10 by 10 squares.
Absolutely love. Can't wait to use this one. And I know what I'm going to use it for, so I thought I'd bring that and show it to you. I'm going to make that cover quilt. And this is going to go to our spring retreat with me. I still need to figure out what I'm going to use for the background. I think I have enough at home. I need to lay out fabrics with the layer cake now that I have it. But I ordered that on sale back over the holidays, and it took a little while to come. So yeah. So I think that's all our stitching stuff. We do have some quilting to share this time too. So first of all, we will insert a picture here. So our sushi chef is expecting her first baby in a few weeks.
Very soon.
Could be any day now.
Yeah.
She's due in the middle of March.
Yep.
And she had a baby shower last week. And so we had seen this quilt panel on our little shop hop in Ohio back in December, but it was actually not available for sale.
No, it was a sample.
It was a sample in
they
the
didn't
store.
have any more. Yeah.
So I went online and I found it on Etsy and quilted it up, and it's a monthly marker. So as the baby hits these milestones, you lay them on the quilt and then you circle, is it 1 month, 6 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, it's weeks, months, and years. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can,
to post pictures. And so that one, I cut off the
Selvage.
the selvage so I could tell you guys. It's called Oh How They Grow by Studio K for Robert Kaufman. So you may still be able to find this one. There were some available on Etsy. It's super cute present for a new mom.
Yeah.
And then my second quilt finish is my oldest unfinished quilt. You haven't seen this yet.
Whoa.
So,
Wow.
back when my daughter was still nursing, the princess.
Now she's learning to drive,
now
so that's been
16 and a half.
couple of years.
Mom's friend, Betty Rivers, right?
Yeah.
Came up and taught this class to our quilt group. It's called the Fat Quarter Quilt.
Yeah. Oh, part of it.
Yeah, hold it up. And you can see that everything goes down diagonally. And it takes 7 or 8 fat quarters and some background fabric. And when we took this class, it was way, way, way over my head.
Mm.
But I did it, and I persisted, and I finished it, and I just quilted it. And this morning I put the binding on. And when I quilt, I bring my threads through to the top. And so I still have a lot of tie-offs that I need to do to tie and bury the threads. But I'm super happy that this is now done. And I did it with a super thin batting, so it'll be a good quilt to lay out in the, spring and summer.
And show your back.
Yeah. And then the back, I did a fun back with, don't hold it up that high because there's 3 fabrics.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So 3 different fabrics. And then these were little extra pieces of the fat quarters that were left at the end.
So you filled it out. Yeah.
So I still need to put a label on it and finish the tie-offs, but I'm super duper happy to have my oldest UFO done. So now something else becomes my oldest UFO. I don't know which one.
And I think I have that top finished.
You finished the top.
And I went to Workday many years ago and made the back. And I came home and I had the extra pieces from making the back. I have never found the back.
It disappeared.
At least 3 or 4 people have gone through my sewing room with me, and you have no idea what that entails. And Jennifer's done it several times. And the darn back just...
Never found it.
I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if somebody ate it or what. But so that has not been finished because I'm mad at it because I can't find the back.
I know.
I'll have to dig it out and do something.
Yeah. So...
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, I'm so happy to have it done. That's happy.
Great.
So, good.
That's great.
All right, plans over the next few weeks?
I'm going to try and wade through this room and get it straightened out. I did plan on making some gifts for Nina on my embroidery machine, and I finally got up here on Thursday, and I was so excited because the shower was Saturday, and I knew they wouldn't take long, and it wouldn't load, and I finally figured out because my hoop was not big enough. So, of course, I got on Amazon, and I ordered the hoop, and it came Saturday afternoon. The shower was Saturday morning. And so, again, it was one of those, just put it on my cutting table. So just before we started filming, I opened it, and it's not the right size.
Yeah.
So I've got to track down a bigger hoop. So I don't have those to show you because since I didn't get them to make the shower, Oh, and then the other thing I did make, and we'll insert a picture, I did make some coasters for my physical therapists. That's kind of been my thank you when I had my breast cancer treatment, and now with my hip, I did some cork coasters, and it's on my embroidery machine, and they're fun to make, and I've made tons of them, and it's a really easy, quick gift, and they liked them, so that was really good.
We have, so the big plan we have over the next couple of weeks is our spring retreat. Our Two Tall Stitchers retreat is in 3 weeks. So we won't be here filming that weekend. We'll figure out another time to fit it in sometime around that weekend because we don't want to get too far off schedule. But we're excited.
Or maybe we'll do a quick live from there and everybody can wave and say hi.
Yeah, we could.
We could.
All right, we'll put it out on our YouTube channel if we're going to do a live so you guys can pop in. But so that's what's going on. I think for us, just getting in more driving hours for the teenager. We're doing Girl Scout cookie sales. We've had some outstanding cookie booths, so we're very happy with our good cookie season. going on a camping trip with my Girl Scout troop. So lots of fun stuff going on, and going back to the office for work. So,
and her troop is saving their money to go to a trip this summer to Philadelphia and Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So they were really happy to get the
it's been a good
cookie year.
Yeah. A couple of quick shout outs I want to do. I mentioned them at the beginning, but if you haven't seen them yet, go take a watch of Two Needles Pulling Thread, a nice, another duo doing Flosstube, and they stitch a lot of great stuff, and just enjoy missing Kathy and watching them. And then the other person I wanted to shout out is my friend Monique, and she has started a quilting, I was going to say quilting floss tube, but kind of a quilty tube. Monique is a prolific quilter.
Yes.
She sews like all day, not all day. Every night she works, but she sews, I think, almost every night, just like I stitch almost every night, but she cranks out quilts and bags and stuff like crazy. So we'll link both Two Needles Pulling Thread and Monique Quilts below, and go give them a watch, especially if you're a quilter. Go over and see some of the stuff that Monique has done as well. So I think we'll end, but before we do, we have another question for all of you so that we can have more statistics next time. And our question this time is, what is your favorite count of fabric? So are you a 14, 18, 20 count? Are you a 32, 36, 40 count? Let us know what your favorite is. And if you don't have a preference, say I love them all. And you'll go into a section of the pie that way. So I'll be interested to hear. And maybe we'll have to think about that too. I don't know that I have an immediate answer. So we'll answer that next time.
I don't have a favorite. I'm pretty open to stitching on anything.
So
I like Lugana now that I've stitched on it, and Jovelin and
but this is count. We'll save that for another time. This is count.
Don't tell us the name, only tell us the count. Okay. That's okay.
So we have a long list of questions we can ask you guys. All right. Well, thanks so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. We hope you've enjoyed our jibber jabber as usual. And
it's been great to see you.
Yeah.
Hope you're all doing well. And let's hope, especially I'm saying this for Tricia, let's hope for more snow.
All right. Thanks. Keep stitching. Bye.